Today, I'm going to show you how to prepare a delicious Easter brunch for just $50 in just 90 minutes. When it comes to prepping a holiday meal, I hear two major complaints from people. One is that they just don't know what to make. All the recipes seem confusing, there's too many ingredients. And the next is that they don't understand the timing. It's very frustrating to try and get everything on the table at the right time, and that can be very overwhelming. Well, today I'm going to tackle both of these concepts for you. So we're going to talk about some meals or some choices for recipes that are going to be very simple for you, but are going to be very elegant and not going to cost a ton of money. And I'm going to take you through the schedule on how to make this Easter brunch that I picked out in just 90 minutes. With a little bit of preparation and planning, you can easily achieve your Easter goals. I remember a time I was just out of college. It was my first job. I had roommates, but for some reason I was determined to host Easter dinner. But I also only had like $30 to spend. Times were tight. So I was able to do it with a little bit of resourcefulness. And do you know what my family said? They were so surprised and so shocked. They had no idea to this day, unless they saw my video last year where I told this story. That I only spent $30 on the Easter dinner. They said it was wonderful. They had a great time. So you can be thrifty and still have an amazing magical holiday. And you don't need to spend hours and hours in the kitchen. This meal plan that I picked out for you just allows us to spend 90 minutes. And then when everyone arrives, there's no more cooking, no more prepping. You're not slaving over the stove. You can actually enjoy having a nice time with your friends and family. This specific menu, I picked some items that were easy to put together, but I really felt like really elevated the meal and were really quite elegant without being too difficult. We're starting off by making a bacon, broccoli, and cheddar quiche and a ham and cheddar quiche, because what is Easter without ham, right? And then to get even more veggies in, I utilized pre-made puff pastry dough to make a very fancy looking asparagus tart that actually only took a few minutes to assemble. And then we are reshaping store-bought cinnamon rolls into the cutest little bunny shapes. And I'm whipping up a very springy strawberry and goat cheese salad with a homemade balsamic vinaigrette dressing. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. So here is the basic schedule. And you're gonna find this on my blog, but if you're looking to adjust the schedule, you can download my ebook. Now this ebook is full of adjustable schedules, tips, tricks, and shopping list for this meal, as well as a link directly to Walmart in the Walmart app that will send you the entire list. So you can just click buy if you want to. The ebook also has an equipment list and of course all of today's recipes, so you don't have to scroll and click, they're all in one place. It's also helpful for people who don't want to follow this exact recipe, but you do want to get started on hosting an Easter brunch. You're just not crazy about the recipes that I picked. You'll want to download this now because this ebook is normally $9.99, but it's going to be free in March 2024. So you only have a little bit of time in order to download it for free. And you're going to want to get the value out of this with no cost to you. So get it today. And if the ebook isn't your thing, of course, you can go on to my blog and get the basic schedule and get all the recipes there as well.
So we're just gonna get started with the schedule. It's 10:30, it's time to make our quiche. Now, if you don't know this, I have been obsessed with quiche since I was a child. I don't know what it was or the first time I had it, but I had one bite and I was hooked. And on my birthday, my mom would always ask what special birthday dinner I would want to have. And I think starting at 5 or 6 years old, I requested quiche, and that continued until my 18th birthday. I'm not sure that she's made it since then. I've moved on to, I don't know if they're bigger and better things, but no more quiche on my birthday, but I still really enjoy it. And so through the years, I've really perfected this recipe just because I love making it, and it's really become kind of a signature dish. So we're going to use 12 eggs. We're going to be making 2 quiches, the bacon, broccoli, cheddar quiche, as well as the ham and cheddar quiche. And that's because we're not doing like a sliced ham on this. We're just keeping it super simple. But I did decide to put ham in the quiche to give it that Easter flair. Now you can, of course, adjust the fillings to your liking. You could do spinach instead of broccoli. You could do ground sausage. That's a really good breakfast addition too. So whatever you like or whatever you have on hand, if you have certain things on hand in your fridge that you want to use up, go ahead and choose those items. It's going to turn out great. And the good thing about quiche is we can make all of the filling at the same time, and then we'll just put the different additions in the bottom of each pie pan. And then to those eggs, you want to add 1.5 cups of cream. I've really found that cream makes a big difference, but if you don't have it, you can definitely use milk or a milk alternative if that's what you prefer. I've done that before. It turns out well, but cream really makes a big difference as far as kind of how custardy the quiche comes out. And I feel like that's always, what people talk about when they have quiche. And then you also just want to add a teaspoon of salt and a sprinkle of black pepper. Any other seasonings or flavors that you enjoy in your quiche, you can put in there too. But this is just a simple base of egg and cream. And then I did change it to something more festive. I realized the black sweatshirt just was not going to cut it for this Easter brunch. And if you noticed, you saw my little 2-year-old Ben behind me there. When you're doing something like this, if you are in charge of taking care of your littles at this time, you don't have someone specific to watch them, which is like most people in this world, right? Or, you have to get them dressed still, make sure to adjust your schedule accordingly. I mean, you can add up to 10 minutes per event or per thing you're doing, just because I know that things come up. It may seem like you're gonna be able to cook straight through, but you're gonna have to get some blueberries or bananas, or you're gonna have to change someone's diaper. Like, it's not as easy as it may seem. And the best way to set yourself up for success is to be properly prepared. So just know it may take more time, and that is okay. If you get started early, you're gonna be set for success. And so I have about a 3/4 pound of sliced ham. I've got maybe 6 ounces of cooked bacon. I already had some cooked bacon here. You can cook up your own bacon. That's just going to add time to the schedule. In the shopping list, I have the pre-cooked bacon because that makes this really simple. And then I've got, I think it's 2 scallions. I like to leave my scallions on the counter in some water, and I find that they regrow that way, and that way I have like unlimited scallions, which is amazing. And then I've got a couple of frozen pie crusts. The grocery list has Pillsbury, so you just want to take out 2 9-inch pie pans and drape those over, and then you can just crimp them with your fingers. Alternatively, you can make your favorite pie crust if you really love a certain recipe for pie crust. So it's also going to take more time. So twofold here in the essence of time. It's going to be a lot easier to buy pie crust, and I also find that I don't mind store-bought pie crust. I think it's pretty good, and I think that you do you, right? So I generally buy it just because it saves me time. And then you want to put the ham over the bottom of one of the pie plates, and then about 3/4 cup of shredded cheddar. Again, it would save you a little bit of money to buy the block cheese, not a ton of money, a little bit of money, and then you'd have to shred it. And again, in the essence of time, we're making things easy on ourselves today, and we still have a really low budget, so I think it's worth it to buy the shredded if that's what you want to do. And then I'm going to cover that with about a tablespoon of diced scallions. And then in the broccoli cheddar, we're putting all of that sliced bacon in the bottom, another tablespoon of scallions. And then I had about a cup of broccoli. So I put the frozen broccoli in the microwave according to package instructions, cooked that up. So you do need cooked broccoli. So in whatever way that you're going to either cook that ahead of time or just microwave it. I find microwaving the frozen stuff works really great, and you would never know that it was frozen in a quiche. It works out really well. Now, do as I say here, not as I do. Place those quiches on a baking sheet before you pour the egg mixture in. I did end up having like a little bit of extra egg mixture, and I don't know if that was the size of the pie crust I had. I did have 9-inch pie crusts, but they did seem a little shallow, like not the deep dish kind. So I ended up with a little bit extra egg, and it went over the side, and it would have been a lot better had I already put the baking dish down. That would have saved me some mess, but that's okay. It just goes to show you that it doesn't matter how many times you do something, you can still make a mistake. We are all human. And then we're just going to top those off with that final 1/4 cup of shredded cheese and bake at 375 degrees for 40 minutes. And you just want to bake these until the center is fully cooked through. 40 minutes was perfect for me. If you need to make adjustments, please do. You want the quiche to be fully cooked through, and you don't want it to be overcooked. Now, I did mention that quiche is an absolute favorite of mine. This video was actually part of an Easter Favorites collaboration hosted by Valerie Hargett and Sammy May over at Managing the Maze. And if you haven't watched them before, you're going to love these ladies. I am absolutely sure that they're whipping up some delicious Easter favorites for you. So just make sure to check out the playlist after watching this video. That's going to be in the description and at the end of the video. And if you're coming over from the playlist, I'm so grateful to have you here. I am all about easy and affordable meals for families, and it's really my goal to help you be the best you can be in your kitchen. So I will hope you will stick around and enjoy what you see. So for this asparagus tart, I wanted to utilize eggs and cream because I was already buying those. And so you need 3/4 cup of cream, which is actually the rest of my small carton of cream. So it worked out perfectly. And then 2 eggs, and you just want to mix that together with a little bit of salt, pepper, and a sprinkle of nutmeg. There's nothing like a little nutmeg and egg to make it taste really delicious. And then I have the Pillsbury pastry puff pastry sheets, and there's a few different brands on the actual Walmart list. There's a different brand that's even cheaper, and that's like a roll, so it's your choice what you want to buy. For these, you just need like 1 and then 2/3 of one, and you want to make sure they're defrosted, so you should put them in the fridge about an hour before you start. And then put 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and then my sliced up asparagus. So I did slice the ends off of those to take like the crunchy ends off and wash those. And then you just want to pour the egg mixture right over the asparagus. And so I specifically chose this dish because I was able to kind of double utilize some of my ingredients, and that's what I always say for picking out your brunch menu. You want to pick things that can utilize similar ingredients. Again, I'm using cheese, which is something I already had too. So I'm going to put another 1/2 cup of cheese right on top of that, and then I'm going to bake this at 375 degrees for about 20 minutes. You want that crust to puff up, and this ended up like being perfect timing with the quiche, so they both came out at the same time. Well, I had both of those in the oven. It was time to make the cinnamon roll bunnies. These are so cute and so easy. I love that you just utilize those store-bought cinnamon rolls. You do need to make sure to get the Pillsbury Grands ones, or I used the Annie's ones because they were out of the Grands. Or I think Immaculate Baking also has them, but some of the cinnamon rolls are, they're not the ones you can unroll, and that's not going to work for this, so you don't want to be disappointed. And then you'll notice that I also got this parchment paper. It comes in sheets, and it's so much easier than the unrolled stuff, so I do have the link for that down in the description box. It's just been something that's been making my life easier in the kitchen and worth a few dollars. For these cinnamon rolls, you want to unroll them about halfway, maybe a little bit more. You just need enough space to make these bunny ears, and then you just kind of cinch them together. This is a little bit of a messy process. There's a little bit of cinnamon that gets on your fingers, but that's not the worst thing that could happen. And you just do that with all 5 of them. If you're having a bigger get together, go ahead and add, 1 more can of these if you need to, and then you'll have 10. I mean, they're not the cheapest things in the world per piece, but they are really cute, and you can just adjust your schedule and your budget accordingly. And then you just want to bake these at 375 degrees for 17 minutes, but we are going to go in at 10 minutes and kind of squeeze the ears together. You'll see that in a little bit. That will help them not to look like big blobs when they come out. And then I'm going to make dressing for my strawberry goat cheese pecan salad. This is my mom's recipe for a balsamic vinaigrette. It's been making forever. And when my mom makes it, she makes it in a mug. So I know it would be pretty and cute to do it inside of a mason jar, but for some reason we got to do it like mom. You want 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and then 1 clove of minced garlic. And then you also need about a tablespoon of sugar. Start with a half and then mix and taste, because you'll be surprised at how much sugar it needs, but you do sometimes with this one need to adjust as necessary. So you can see the consistency here. It's pretty thick. That is how the dressing should be, and it's going to be full of flavor. So just make sure that it's not too tangy, and there's also preferences, right? So once that was mixed up, it was time for my quiches to come out, and I decided to put in my cinnamon rolls. You'll notice that my tart is going to cook a little bit longer. My timing was a little bit off because I have children, and they kind of disrupted my process slightly. So something to consider when you're going through and making your own schedule is that if you are going to have your littles running around during this time, you may want to add a few minutes here and there, even like 5 minutes per item, because things will come up. They always do. Even as much as you think that they won't, they always do, right? And so that came out. I left the tart in for a few more minutes. Slicing my strawberries, again, kids got into the strawberries and ate a lot of my strawberries. So my salad's actually going to be significantly smaller than my recipe for the salad, and especially what I would serve at like a larger brunch. But I didn't want to make it too big of a salad because I just knew we weren't going to eat that much. There was only 4 of us eating this particular day, so it wasn't like my big Easter brunch. I was just serving this for everybody, and we ended up having the leftovers through the week, which was very nice. So you want to slice up your strawberries. The recipe calls for a half a pound of them. And then I'm just putting some salad on a plate. I find that when you put your greens on a platter or like a very shallow bowl, that is the most beautiful presentation of a salad, and so many more people will eat it. So I wouldn't put it in a deep bowl. I'm against deep bowls for salads, especially at like a gathering like this, because they just don't look as beautiful and they're just not as appetizing. So I put ours on a plate, and then I laid out the strawberries, and then I topped that with some crushed or chopped pecans, and then top that with crumbled goat cheese. And so you can do this to your liking. The recipe is specific, but it doesn't matter. It really is, make it your own. And then drizzle that with the salad dressing, and this is such a beautiful salad. Now, if you're making this ahead, you want to put it in the fridge and just let it chill until it's time to serve, and then you can top that salad with the dressing right before you're ready to eat. And then for some reason I didn't get the best angle, but I did go in and squeeze the tops of those bunnies because they were like really puffing up, and that was at that 10-minute mark. You might want to use tongs or gloves for that. I was being a little crazy and use my fingers because I just touch hot stuff all the time apparently. And then 7 minutes later, I took out the tart. It was perfectly done, and as well as the cinnamon rolls. Now with the cinnamon rolls, you want to let those sit for a few minutes before you ice them. If you put the icing right away on cinnamon rolls, and this goes for all cinnamon rolls, not just bunnies, it will kind of just slide right off. And so it's a lot better to wait a few minutes until they cool down a bit. And then for the tart, I just put it on a cutting board, and I decided to use a pizza cutter to cut this, and this worked really well. So I really liked this option. And then I cut mine into 8 slices, but you could very easily do 12 or cut it into like 3 squares on each thing. So however you want to do it, you can definitely add more to this because these slices are rather big. So them combined with a quiche, combined with a salad, combined with a cinnamon roll, I mean, that's a lot of food. So definitely can break that down into smaller pieces if you like. But overall, the asparagus tart is so gourmet looking and so simple. I chose this because it's kind of an alternative to like those little bundles of them that people do. And I think those are so cute, but I'm trying to avoid doing as many individual things as possible and getting kind of the same bang for your buck out of a larger tray of items that you can just cut up in the end, kind of like cookie bars. And then with the bunnies, it was then time to ice them. So it all kind of worked out perfectly. I put that salad on the table. I took out the tart. I put that on the table. I was also able to put out the quiches. And then these were cooled down once that tart was cut, and I was able to drizzle the icing on them. And then I just used a little bit of sprinkles on the top to make almost like a little crown for them. I saw that on Pinch of Yum, and I thought it was such a cute idea, so I decided to use it as well. I just used regular rainbow sprinkles and then some pink sprinkles, and I think I got both of those containers maybe at Dollar Tree, so you can get them very inexpensive. I consider those to be a pantry item. It's also not a must. Like, these are still adorable with or without the sprinkles, so good either way. And then I just put those bunnies right onto, it's actually like a pink bandana, but I buy those things at the Dollar Tree too, like different little either like headbands or like napkins, because they're really, really cute to, when you're hosting, like kind of put on the table. And it worked out really well. So I put those on top of there. That was pink. It was festive. And we were ready to eat. Everything was still hot and delicious. And we really enjoyed ourselves. These are the boys' plates. And it just was such a wonderful brunch idea. I think that if you're hosting, you are going to feel so good making this meal. So remember to grab your free ebook, that $9.99 value, for free before the end of March 2024. Remember to check out that playlist and get some more Easter ideas. And I'll see you all very soon.